We've reached a point in the industry where there's a massive amount of content there, and there are many different services, often coming from a single brand, many services from a single brand. And I think one of the things that we're focusing on, or starting to focus on, is how we take all this content across these disparate services and start to bring them into one place. Start to bring them to a place where the user can access most of the world of their content from within one touch point. Certainly at the moment, users are having to jump from Facebook to Twitter to Instagram, just in terms of social, for example, to WhatsApp. There's so many different touch points just around one particular genre of content. So to personalize that, why can't we bring it all within one walled garden, as it were? If you think about it in terms of video, we have tens of thousands of hours worth of content in a service. If we can begin to understand the user's interests, not just for that content, but around that content as well, written, sports, that kind of thing, that can help us inform us as to the kinds of content that we should be recommending for a user. I think it needs to go beyond just, you watched episode 1, here's episode 2. We start to need to be a little more intelligent about it in order to deliver a genuinely personalized service. And that means having a customizable UI potentially. That means having, the recommended content is something that is of interest to the user, but it might also take them a step outside their comfort zone, but it's always relevant to them. I think that's where we see personalization starting to go.
So how could that be manifest in your platform? Or will it be, or could it be?
Yeah, it could be, certainly. And we're in the process of making it that way. We have a proof of concept that we've been working on called Mosaic, which really starts to address some of these issues we're seeing. So it's currently an Android-based proof of concept, but it exists on tablet and mobile and on smart TV. And the idea is that this is a persistent ecosystem that can live with you across all your devices. It doesn't have to play by a specific set of rules, by UI rules from Microsoft or Google or something like that. We can deliver a user experience that exists across these different devices, that is tailored to these different devices, but that recommends content to you that is relevant dependent on the device you're using, but also where you are, what you're doing, who you might be with. All these kinds of things affect the kind of content that you might be looking for. For example, what you might watch in the kitchen on your tablet on a Monday morning will probably be quite different to the kind of content that you view on a Tuesday evening on your smart TV. Device informs the kind of content that you look at. The time of day informs the kind of content that you look at. So what Mosaic is an attempt to learn the user's behavior and then start to deliver content that is relevant to them based on where they are, what they're doing, their behavior. So what we know they usually do on a Tuesday afternoon, when we're sitting in the kitchen on Tuesday morning, for example, starting to have an ecosystem that can move with you throughout your daily life in order to deliver the right kinds of content to you. We're not saying we will only show you stuff that you've watched before, we'll only show you, series that we know we have a concrete surety that you like. We'll go outside your comfort zone and we'll give you, things that might be of interest. But it always comes back to trying to fit around your behavior, so that the content that you get recommended, it's always relevant to you. It might not always be not something you like, but it's certainly something that will be suitable to where you are and what you're doing at a given time.
And what sort of customers, broadcasters, I mean, it's early on, you guys are early on, but how could this be implemented or adopted by the industry, and how might that develop?
So I think we're seeing the most natural fit is around your sort of tier 1 telcos, people that have multiple different touch points onto the user's daily life. So they have their usage data of the broadband within the home, they've got their set-top box data, those kinds of things. They're probably the most natural fit because they have enough touch points into the user's life that can be persistent across morning, noon and night kind of thing. We're seeing some interest in terms of talking about this from sort of straight broadcasters, people that have a large amount of content that they need to sort of get to users in a more focused way. But certainly the telco is the most natural fit at the moment.